Welcome to day 3 of our 5-day challenge. Now that you've done all the prep work and you have everything you need to get started, it is time to start creating. So, today I'll show you where and how to input everything you created based on your homework assignments and where they go in the template. To grab the free template link, you'll find two options. You can either click the button below to grab the PDF with the link to the template, or inside of today's email, you'll also find a link to the template. This training will expire soon and the page will come down. So please set aside the next 15 minutes to dive into this tutorial. Go ahead and close out of any other browsers you have open. Turn off your social media. Try to devote 100% attention to this activity. Now that you've opened up your template, let's do a quick overview of what's included. On the bottom of your template, you'll notice that you have 4 sheets at the bottom. Sheet 2, directions, read about it, questions, and puzzles. These are just extra sheets for examples for the sake of this video training. You should see 4 sheets. On sheet 2, this is where you will input your correct answers. And of course, I'll show you how to hide it before sharing it. Here are the student directions. They are easy to follow directions that your students can revisit at any time. It reminds them to zoom in or zoom out if they need to. And it reminds them to type the answer exactly how they find it in the reading passage. And we'll touch more on this in a few minutes. Next, you have the read about it sheet. This is where you will enter your customized modified reading passage that you created the other day. It is as easy as copy and paste. On the right here in bright green are some teacher tips, and be sure to delete this column before sharing it with your students. And we will, of course, go over each one of these tips to get you ready to sharing your activity. Lastly, you have the questions and puzzle slide. This is where you're going to add your 10 short answer or 10 fill in the blank questions that you created as your homework assignment yesterday. Let's start with the reading passage. Go ahead and pull up your reading passage, copy it, click inside, and paste your passage. And voila, you are good to go. Should you find that you're having troubles with spacing or you want more room in between the paragraphs, you can simply press Alt-Enter and it will add spacing for you. Now, I do want you to notice that in order to change or mark the text, you have to click inside of it. And then by default, Google Sheets makes the screen bigger for you. So you'll likely want to model this with your students. Also remember that all devices have different default settings. So students can always change the zoom. They can make it larger. They can make it smaller. There is a scroll bar so that you can see the entire passage and they can quickly skim for answers. Now, when it comes to marking the text and changing the color, again, students have to click into the reading, They're going to choose the text that they want to change to red as per the directions, and then they're simply going to change the text color to red. And now you can see that they have found evidence in the text for their answers. When it comes to answering questions, they must enter the answers exactly how it's found in the text. So for example, in blue here it says, the second largest canyon is Fish River Canyon. Well, if my question said the blank largest canyon is Fish River Canyon, we know the answer is second, but in the passage, it is spelled out. Students cannot enter a 2, an N, and a D and reveal a correct response. They have to enter the words exactly how they find them in the reading passage. Now, if you prefer to make this a little bit easier and you simply want to add a link to a reading passage, you can. Maybe you prefer to have them mark the document in Google Slides or Google Docs. Or maybe you want to simply just send them to a website so you don't have to create your own passages. You can, and you can enter the link where the reading passage is. Just keep in mind that they cannot likely annotate the text on the website that you're sending them to. If you choose to add a link, you're going to need to change the directions because by default, the directions say to change the font color to red. So just in case you're just sending them to a website, I've added different directions here, asking them to use the link to find their answers, and you can simply copy this and replace this image with the new one. Next, we will move on to the questions and puzzles. So I've already started filling in questions and I've already started filling in answers. Now on this page is where you enter the questions. On this page is not where you enter the answers. This column here is simply for students, and we'll talk about entering the answers in a minute. So here is where you enter your short answer or fill in the blank questions. You can change the font, you can change the font size, but just notice that you can't have super long questions or super long answers based on the space allotted. You cannot change the size of the columns because that, if you can see, messes up the picture. So you want everything to be in the space that's already allotted for the questions and answers. And now let me just show you the example we used earlier. The second largest canyon is Fish River Canyon. If they wrote second, the way it is not found in the passage, that's actually wrong. But if they write the word exactly how it's found in the passage, they are correct. Next, some of your answers can be more than one word, but space matters. Natural feature is correct. However, if they put natural feature without a space, that would be incorrect. Now, I want you to pay attention to this area over here as I fill in correct answers. You'll notice the picture changes and starts to populate. And the goal is that the answer wheel, the cryptogram wheel, will not be fully revealed until all answers are correct. And now this is done on purpose. This is done so students can't just jump into solving the secret message. And secondly, it's done to trigger inner motivation. Students want to finish this activity because they are determined to find the secret code. If you chose to send the students to a link instead of inputting your own passage, you'll need to change this area here. This is just a reminder to mark the passage in red. If you're not asking your students to do that, you can simply just delete the text. On the answer page, it tells you the question numbers, and this is where you input your answers. Again, space matters. Capitalization does not. Please do not change or delete any rows and columns because this sheet is already pre-formatted for you, that all you have to do is simply change the answer. So let's say on number 5, we wanted to change the answer to yes. We can now head back to the questions and puzzles. E is wrong now, and we will enter yes, and it is correct. So I've tried to make this as easy as possible for you, and all of the conditional formatting for these answers has been done for you. So yesterday you were tasked with creating your 10 short answer or 10 fill in the blank questions with answers. So your questions go here, and your answers to those questions go here. Again, I tried to make this as easy as possible for you, even if you are not a text person. Now, the fun part is you have a lot of flexibility when it comes to your secret code or your secret message. You can do a joke, a pun, a quote, an extra fact. There's so much you can do here, and this is just an example. It is a short joke of the day. Now remember, the answer should be short because it needs to fit into this area. But I chose, what is a physicist's favorite food? And the answer, of course, I wouldn't reveal to the students, but the answer is fish and chips. So all I'm going to do is find on the wheel, let's make this correct so we can see the whole wheel. So the number 1 relates to an F. The number 9 is I. The number 17 is S. Number 17 is S. So this spells out fish and chips, and in between each letter, I like to put a dash so students don't get confused. You also have the option, if you want to get a little bit more creative, to enter a numerical code spelled out. So essentially, the answer is 2191, and students would enter the numbers 2191 here. But if you notice, the 7 is a T, the 12 is the W, the 13, when done correctly, is the O. So I love this activity because it really allows you to get creative with your secret messages, and kids are so eager to finish the assignment so they can reveal the code. We will talk about creating new secret codes or new secret messages tomorrow, as well as where to enter the answers and where you need conditional formatting. And don't worry, you only need conditional formatting for the code word. To keep it simple, today your homework is to choose a 1-word mystery code. Once you become familiar with the activity and you become familiar with the template, you can add your own twist of fun, add your own secret messages. But to keep it easy, today's homework is for you to think of a short 1-word mystery code that your students or your kids can decode when the puzzle unscrambles. This word can be related to your topic or not related to your topic. I have found that the sweet spot for the mystery code is an 8-letter word. Now, don't stress. Head on over to the 8-letter word cheat sheet found inside of today's PDF to help you. I've already given you a list of a bunch of 8-letter words. And I will see you tomorrow. You are almost there.